So, Amarni, you are one of the 450,000 people who are currently working in aged care.
Yes, I am.
And that is about double the number of people who work in mining in Australia.
Wow, okay. I never knew that.
And we've got such an ageing population, we need to grow our aged care workforce.
I do agree on that one, yes.
Hi, I'm Nicky Sloan. I'm the CEO of Community Industry Group, and I'm coming to you today from the beautiful lands of the Dharawal people to bring you Community Matters, the podcast about community issues with the people who are making a difference. And today I'm joined by the fabulous Amarni Harris, who is an aged care worker who's also on another journey, working at one of our member organisations, Warrigal. Welcome, Amarni.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Amarni, I think when we think about the aged care workforce, we don't think about a young 19-year-old woman.
No, definitely not.
So what attracted you to work in the aged care sector?
So when I was in year 10 in high school, it was time to start thinking about getting a job and entering the workforce. And I had a lot of people say, just go to Macca's, get a job in the shops. But I wanted something with more purpose for me. I felt like I wanted to contribute to the community and make a difference. And on Seek, an ad popped up for an aged care employee assistant in Warrigal for students and uni students to, get into the workforce and start making a difference. And that's what I did. And that's where it's led me today to now being a nursing student at uni, and I'm a care staff. So I've, stepped up a little bit and I'm now in this role, and I do really love it. And I think it's made a very big difference on my life and the trajectory of my life and where I'm now going. So, yeah, I do really enjoy it.
Fantastic. So you started as an aged care employee, so an assistant.
Yeah.
And did you need training for that job?
Yeah, so we did a week of onboarding. It was more about making us aware of the environment we're working in, safety, all those things, interacting with older people, because a lot of people joining that role have really not had much experience with that sort of thing. So that's what we did. And then I did buddy shifts for a week in the facility, and then, I was out on my own.
And so from there, when you left school that you went on and did a Certificate 3?
No, so I haven't completed a Certificate 3 because when I joined to the care staff position, I was in my first semester of uni, so that makes the equivalent of a certificate at TAFE, and that's how I've stayed in this position.
Fantastic. So there's two ways.
Yeah, so you don't have to have the certificate, but you do have to be, in a degree or something at uni or TAFE if you don't want to do the aged care certificate. Yeah. Okay.
And obviously you're at uni, you're working while you're at uni, and the work that you're doing is helping to build your clinical skills?
Definitely. Everything I do at uni, I take straight to work, and I must annoy the RNs with so many questions. I follow them around. I'm like, let me watch you do that wound. And that's really how I've gotten so much knowledge for such a, I'm so early in my degree. I'm still in my first year. So, I'm building knowledge very quickly.
Can you tell us what it's like to work with older people?
So the first word that comes to mind is fun.
Which is not the word anyone would expect. No,
it's not. You wouldn't expect it. But I do enjoy my job. I am interacting with different types of people every day. I'm asking different questions, and I'm learning so much, not only about nursing, but just about general life. They teach me so much, and that's, I think, why I enjoy it. And the satisfaction you get from helping them in such a hard transition in life. Aging is not easy, and I like that I can be there for them and make it a little bit easier.
And aging is not easy, but hopefully we'll all have the privilege of getting older. By 2044, so it's only 20 years from now, 1 in 5 Australians is going to be over 65. And there'll be an additional 1.2 million Australians over 85. So it's a real growth industry.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. When you say the numbers out loud, it makes you really think. we do need people to join.
We need
the
people
workforce.
to join the industry, and we need to recognise that privilege that ageing is, and embrace the fact that aged care workers like you are helping people through that time.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like a real privilege to spend time with older people like that.
It is, and I think something that highlights that is the recognition of their family and friends when they have their visitors come in and you're personally thanked for what you're doing every day, and you get told that you are really making a difference in their life. That's what makes you think like, I'm doing something good here, like what you're doing matters, and they do appreciate you.
I think when a lot of people think about careers in aged care, the two barriers that come to mind is they don't want to see old people naked.
That's a big one, yeah.
And dealing with poo. Is that a huge part of your job?
It is a part of the job, but it's not. Like, think about how many times you go to the toilet in a day. It's not that many, and not everyone needs you to clean them up. Some people are independent. And I think when you look at the grand scheme of things, helping them wipe their bottom really isn't that much when you look at what they're actually going through. And one day you're going to hopefully have the privilege to experience that too. So that's how I like to view it, is if I was in their position, I would want someone to be there judgment-free, and yeah.
And I know my own daughter worked in aged care for quite some time. She was a young woman like you, and she said she had the best time. Older people really want to know about you, don't they?
They do. They are very intrigued. They are. I think with such a different generation and time that we live in, the older people are genuinely so intrigued about how we're living. The other day I was doing some paperwork on my iPad. My resident said, "Oh, what's that?" And I started showing him, and he couldn't believe that it had a touch screen, let alone what I could do on the iPad. So, yeah, it is great.
And conversely, do you hear about their lives, and how does that impact you?
It's truly opened up my eyes to the big world, really. Like, when I started in this position, I was 16. I was very young, and I didn't really have any idea how the big world worked. I was still at school, and talking to these older people and understanding what their life was like when they were my age and what they went through to get to where they are today, it makes me feel very privileged to live the life I'm living.
I know Warrigal's vision is around a place where people feel loved. Do you feel like that is what it's like in residential aged care?
Definitely. I do think the residents that we have I'm speaking from my facility, but they all do seem genuinely happy. They're happy to see us. They, do so many activities, and it's really like just living in a big community. And, even the staff, I can only speak for myself, but I do feel loved working in the aged care facility. The residents, like we were speaking earlier, they love hearing about my life and hearing about me. And yeah, so I think as a collective, everybody does feel that love, especially the residents.
It would be nice to go to work every day and feel loved.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I also love where I work.
So we need an extra 110,000 aged care workers.
Wow, okay.
Over the next decade. What would you say to anyone who's thinking about starting their career or maybe wants to change career? What would you say about considering aged care?
I think it is, as I've said, a great privilege to work where I'm working and do what I'm doing. And I think a great way to experience that would be volunteering. You can go volunteer your time, and you don't have to do personal care. It's nothing like that. You get to go there and interact with the residents and join in on their social activities, and you get an idea, even though you're not performing the role, of how the care works and how a nursing home works. And yeah, you can see if you like it, if it's for you, and then you can progress from there into different roles and hopefully some education and certificates and that sort of thing. That
sounds fantastic. That's a great way in, a bit of a taster. That's really great advice. And of course, there's not just personal care work
No.
in residential aged care or even in home care. What other kinds of roles are involved in aged care?
So aside from our care staff roles, we have lifestyle staff, which is a very big aspect of the facility. They run all of the activities, the outings. They're the social aspect of the care, you would say, the psychological side. There's emotional support. There's a lot that goes into that. We have chefs, cooks, cleaners, maintenance people, admin. So, yeah, there's very different types of roles and lots of them.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So what have you learnt during your time in aged care?
There is a lot I have learnt, and I think you can, like, if you look at it as a whole, I have just really learnt about life and becoming an adult and joining the workforce, and it's really shown me how difficult ageing can be and what a big transition it is for these older people. I never had paid much thought to ageing or, nursing homes in general. And now I have learnt that we really need to take care of our own bodies and our own minds and prepare for what we have ahead of us, because, like I said, I never paid much thought to it. And now I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I know what's ahead of me, sort of thing.
I think that's great advice, because I think that we live in a bit of an ageist society.
Yeah.
And we don't want to think about getting old, so we don't plan for getting old. And I think that's really good advice, because it's much better to have an old age that you've planned for rather than one that's forced upon you by, having an accident or something.
Definitely, yeah.
So you've learnt a lot during that time. What about skills? What skills have you taken away from the work that you're doing?
So aside from building clinical skills in regards to my degree, I have learnt a great deal of social skills and life skills. It has really taught me how to communicate and interact with different types of people on different levels of seniority, and how to speak to them, how to problem solve and troubleshoot, because in the position I'm in, yeah, there's cleaners and cooks and all that, but at the end of the day, the care staff are the people that spend the most time with the residents, so we really have to adapt and learn new things all the time and be able to solve these problems. For example, I have a resident who really enjoys sports bet, and he puts his bets on the races every week, and his sport bet account, he got locked out of it, and I was a person there. I had to work it out. I did, and we solved the problem. But that's an example of how you build lots of little skills you never really expect to, learn.
So, Amarni, you've talked about the work, and you talk about it with joy, I've got to say, and you use words like fun and love. And I wonder why we are having so much trouble attracting more people into aged care. What can we do about that?
I think personally, before I entered this industry, all I saw was negative advertisement about the role and, what goes on inside hospitals and aged care facilities. My generation is surrounded by social media, and everything you see on social media is about strikes and pay disputes and being overworked and, all the bad side to the industry. But I think we need to really focus and highlight the positives. Like we said, I have so much fun at work and I love my job, and I think if we had more people come online and speak about the positives and show others why they're doing what they're doing, I think it would make a big difference.
This podcast is called Community Matters.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about a person or people in the community that matter to you?
I would like to speak about my grandmother. She has been in this industry her whole life. She's worked in aged care, disability support. She's done it all. And when I was younger, I got to go with her to work and spend time with her residents. And that's where I first was like, oh, this is fun. And then, as I learnt more from her, asked her questions, I really realised the type of work she was doing, and it really made me want to join the industry. And I would say she is one of the biggest reasons I have went down the path that I'm on.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Grandmothers are very special. I had 2 beautiful grandmothers.
Yeah.
They're very special people. I want to say a huge thank you, Amarni. I have learnt so much from you today, and I think the key message that I took out of this is that the fun that you have in your work, I think fun and love were the 2 words that stood out for me, and going to work every day and experiencing that is really special. So thank you for sharing. And thank you for tuning in to Community Matters, the podcast that explores community issues with people who are making a difference. Please like, share, or leave us a review, and tune in next time when we talk again with people in our community.